Good morning. Let's talk dementia and yoga. Let's talk about how do you go into an assisted living setting where people are surrounded in a living room on their recliners, covered up with their fleece blankets. There's the TV on playing birds and maybe soft music. Let's talk about what that looks like. How do you get people engaged in a yoga class when they are living with dementia or Alzheimer's, end of life stuff? Let's talk about that. It's not a topic that is easy to talk about, but it's reality. It is reality in every single community across the world. There are people living with dementia that have minimal engagement. They have minimal contact with the outside world. And most of their days are spent in the recliner with the blankets on their lap. So, how do we do this? We do it with mindfulness, we do it with intention, we do it with compassion, and we do it with a lot of joy. So, a method that I have found as far as the movement, and I've got lots to say on this, so there'll be plenty of videos to talk about dementia and yoga, but let's talk about what we as most Westerners think of yoga as, which is postures. How do you get somebody in a recliner to be practicing postures? I got the magic. I figured out early on that going into a setting and trying to teach a traditional class was not going to work. It wasn't going to work. So I came up with this technique that I feel is so amazing and so important, and it works. And what I did was I basically took myself out of it as teacher, and I met them where they are at, which is human to human, person to person. I saw them as they were, which is the number one thing, is to see somebody, to value them where they're at. So I met them where they were at. I removed the blankets with permission. I promised I'd give them back. And then I come up with something that is going to trigger their memory, that's going to ignite something in their brain that says, okay, I remember this. And for a lot of the women, we're talking these people are in their 80s or 90s, usually. Sometimes we have much younger people, but that's a whole other topic. But let's talk about the elderly population with memory care issues. I'm going to go in and make up a story and say, I got to bake a cake this weekend, having a dinner party. I'm not sure what to do. Can you help me? Well, I'm reeling them in. I'm asking them to help me. I'm giving them value by being alive, by asking for them to help me with something. And what I have found in this world is that in this world of assisted living and dementia is so often they are provided for, which is amazing. They're told when to eat, when to get dressed. It's time for your shower. It's time to go to the bathroom. It's time for lunch. It's time for bed. And to give them empowerment is the first step. Okay. So I asked them, can you help me make a cake? Can you tell me what's in it? So they begin to start to list off things they remember doing for decades. I'm like, okay, let's imagine that we're going to make that chocolate cake. So let's start stirring our arm. And I take my arm and I start circling it. And I ask them, will you do this with me? So we're circling the arm. Now I'm crossing the midline, which is igniting neurons in the brain. They don't know that, but I do. We make the cake. Flour, sugar, eggs. I want chocolate, so we're going to add some cocoa. It is amazing to see how they remember these things. Switch to the other arm. We're going to make some frosting. I don't know what goes in frosting. Can you help me? Yeah, you need butter. You need sugar. Well, I want vanilla frosting. What do? You add vanilla. Pretty soon, I've got a whole group of ladies, former cake bakers, stirring both arms. They're moving. They're sitting taller in their recliner. They start to wake up. They start to feel circulation. They start to feel that aliveness that happens when movement is asked of them. It's so cool. So then I've got their bodies moving, and I'll say, hey, will you reach up really high to the sky? Oh my gosh, can you feel that? Get a good morning stretch. Let's try the other arm. Ooh, this one has a sore shoulder. Then just do this. Okay, just do this. Do what we can do. Once I have them and we're engaged and we're partnered into this process, like this beautiful gift of a practice, then I teach a very simple nature-based sequence that they enjoy, that feels good, that is similar to a basic yoga sun salutation, but I don't call it that. I say something like this. Hey, reach up to the sky and be a tall mountain. Bend your elbows like a cactus. Have you ever been to the desert? Let's tip our cactus over. It's going to get windy in the desert. Let's tip it to the other side. This is a cherry blossom. These are my blossoms. Let's be a tree. Let's grow. I'm going to take a branch here. I'm going to take a branch here. And I might even grow a branch in my leg. I've got them hooked. Then we are birds. We go through a whole nature sequence. What's been so amazing is the community and the connection that comes with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ladies or men coming together that otherwise would be sitting with the fleece blanket on, listening to birds on the TV. There's nothing wrong with that. But getting them moving gives them something. It happens, some magic happens in the brain. They start to breathe a little bit more. They get more oxygen in their brain. They feel connected to their peers because there's laughter, there's smiling, there's this person totally disagrees on the cake ingredients and she's going to let you know. So then there's conversation about what actually does go in the cake. The point is, it's not about posture. It's not about calling it something. It's not about that at all. It's about giving them the gift of voice, giving them the gift of empowerment, giving them an opportunity to show up, to shine in their own knowledge. Now, for the gentlemen in the group, totally different. They've never made a cake in their life, most of them. So I had to pull some things out of my repertoire that would engage a man. And first of all, I always hold their hands. Like that's the first connection, eye to eye, hand to hand. And I say, wait a minute, you've got green eyes like me. How cool is that? And while my hands are with their hands, then I open their arms up super soft. I'm getting them moving. And then I bring their hands back to their lap. And I might ask, hey, do you watch football? Are you a football fan? Some are, some aren't. If they are, I've got a whole sequence of football moves. Touchdown, field goal, safety, false start, personal foul, pass interference. I got them all, okay? Gets the guys moving. Now, if they're not football fans, many of them are fishermen. So we crank up the reel, we toss the line, we reel in the fish, we pull back the big fish, and we do it again. Anything that gets them moving. Once I have them hooked and engaged, then I can start to incorporate a little deeper stretches, forward folds, squeeze your leg in, and we come into some more active stretching. My point is, we have to be willing to put aside our yoga training, our yoga Sanskrit, our sequence building, peak pose. It's not about that. It's about finding a connection with them, making them feel like they matter because they do, that their knowledge, their life, their history, their past has value in present. And we pull that out of them and we use movement to do that. So there's my expanded version on my YouTube rant, on my shorts, that talks about doing yoga and living yoga. That, my friends, in the dementia world is living yoga. It's bringing experience to their lives. And that's living yoga. I have much more to say on this, so stay tuned. We're going to do a whole series on dementia yoga. This is just my intro snippet. Follow along below. I've got lots of links. You can find me on socials. You can just sort of scan what I'm about. Been doing this a long time. I'm ready to empower other yoga teachers to do the same. or occupational therapists, mental health workers, anyone who wants to say yes to going in and changing lives. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So stay tuned. We'll keep chatting about this. And I look forward to more. It's coming. It's going to be good.